All right, guys, so today we're going to be talking about how to make money shooting product photography with just your phone and Photoshop. Now, if you're a little intimidated by Photoshop, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you exactly what to do, how to do it, and it's super easy for beginners now because they've got AI. So there's like 3 or 4 tools that you'll need to know. I'll show you how to do that, no problem. So today we're going to be doing photos for these boots, Cayman leather black boots by, how you say it, Rujo? I don't know if that's Spanish or not. And then we have Azaro. We're gonna do some fragrance here. And then lastly, we've got 5 Hour Energy, which they have been a client of mine several times. They sent me a new flavor just to try out. So I'm gonna be showing you guys how to take photos of all 3 of these products just around your house or in your backyard, front yard, anywhere, and transform into crazy images that you wouldn't even imagine that you could do. I've done this with several images and gave them back to brands and made money from it. So you guys are gonna learn how to do my process and sell your own photos to your own brands and hopefully make your own money and have a good time while you're doing it. With 5 Hour Energy, this flavor is called Tropical Burst. Lucky for me, I have a tropical-ish type of background. Now I'm going to set the box up here and then just set the bottle right next to it. And then we're gonna use my pool and hopefully those palm trees and build a scene off of it. Now, one thing I like to do, my phone is right side up right now. I like to turn my phone upside down a lot of the time, just because it kind of, when the camera's below the product, it gives like the product a certain look of dominance. So whenever you're shooting below something, it makes something look a little bit bigger. So keep that in mind when you're shooting stuff like this. With UGC, it's not, you have 2 different types of photos that you can take. Lifestyle, and then you can take product shots, right? Lifestyle is obviously gonna be you using the product. So with 5 Hour Energy, maybe I'm getting ready to do a workout, you know, so I'll take this with a weight room behind me, or some of my weight gear over there on the other side of my house. Or maybe I'm a biker, I like to surf, or I'm swimming, you know, whatever the activity is and you want energy for, you can take this kind of with the elements that surround that lifestyle. So that's lifestyle photography, with you included. Don't forget that part. Product photography is just as the name says, the product is in the photo, and that's really the main focus of the photo. With lifestyle, you in the product, I guess, is more of the main focus, but you still want to have the product in there. And with product photography, the product really just takes up most of the space on the screen. So we're gonna do some product photography here, but with the palm trees in the background. And then hopefully we can create something really cool from it. We've got some photos just like that. And then I'm gonna take one more shot, acting like I'm like drinking it. So this will be more of like a, I guess, lifestyle or a version of it where I'm sipping it. You guys should keep in mind that I'm not really following right now is that the time of day that you shoot, if you're shooting outside right now, not the best time to shoot when the sun's highest in the sky. Mid-afternoon is just very, very harsh light. You're not gonna get the best photo that you could possibly get. You really wanna shoot is around like evening, golden hour-ish. I'm sure you guys have heard that term before, or in the morning, or if it's like a cloudy type of like rainy type of day, because the clouds diffuse the light and you get really, really even light. Same with golden hour and in the morning. The light is just more dispersed through the sky. It's not just harsh light beaming down on top of you. All right, so we've got the Cayman leather boots here. Same thing, we're gonna create, maybe I'll do like some type of like a ranch thing or desert background. So I'm just gonna take the boots. We'll do some product photography here. When you guys are taking photos, make sure that you include like a part of the ground or whatever you want to build off of, because I'll show you when we get the Photoshop, the AI needs to see, it is looking at the pixels that are already on the photo and is building off of that. So if there's no, like, let's say you only take a photo and it's like super close up to the boots and you try to build something without having this ground here, it's gonna create like some random ground that doesn't match the lighting of these boots. Because what's important is to make these photos look realistic, everything has to match, the shadows, the lighting, all that. And the AI is gonna look at the original photo to be able to build whatever you want in addition to the photo that you already took. Boom. All right, I like that. Now I've got on my cowboy boots, the caiman leather. You know what I'm saying? It's like my second time putting these. They're really difficult to put on. Anyways, we're going to be shooting more of like a lifestyle type of photo here. Now, it's going to be difficult to do this if you're filming yourself or taking a photo of yourself. Sorry. Obviously, you have like self-portrait features on your phone where you can like just put your hand up and maybe it'll see your hand and snap the photo for you. But you never really know if it's being taken or not. So the best thing to do for this, if you're alone, you don't have anybody to help you, well, the best thing to do is have somebody help you. Girlfriend, friend, brother, sister, mother. Just have somebody like snap the shot for you. You'll probably have to direct them to get the right angle that you want. But if you're taking it by yourself, you can also record a video of yourself. So just press record on your phone, hit the pose real quick, you can go back and do a screen capture and get the photo that way. The other way that you can do it is obviously just setting a self timer. So for me, I'm going to do the self timer. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, snap. This actually weren't too bad. I want to get the boots a little closer to the camera. So I'm gonna do that one more time. So I'm gonna hit that same shot. So yeah, we got the shot already in the boots. The only problem is that the boots aren't that much in focus. Wonder if like perhaps I should just touch that area of the ground. All right, yeah, I'm gonna focus on that area of the ground. And then hopefully we can get a shot that's more in focus with the boots. It most definitely did. If you run into a situation where you're trying to take a picture of yourself and the boot or whatever product isn't in focus, just touch that area and then hopefully that'll fix it, which you did here. So cool, let's move on to the next product. Got another idea where this might be a little difficult still. I have an idea for the 5-hour energy that I want to try. So what I'm gonna do, I don't know, maybe we can like just put the box here and then just set some of the bottles of 5-hour energy on the floor like that, so that maybe the camera can at least see that it's in the shot. And what I'm thinking is I want to have my longboard here. I'm gonna try to turn this into a surfboard and put myself on a beach. That might be interesting. Maybe I should like drink it like that. Yeah, that'll be cool. Cause then it's like I'm not posing so much. It's like I'm actually like walking and drinking the 5-hour energy. Like I'm leaving my beach area. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Yep. Cool. Perfect shot. So we got that shot. Lifestyle, baby. Wipe this off. You got to make sure that when you're doing photography, guys, be mindful of like particles and debris that'll be on the product. Just make sure you wipe them off. It's best to have one of those. See, it still has it on there. It's best to have one of those microfiber type cloths that should come with like your sunglasses. Those are perfect for getting rid of this type of stuff in the right way in order to get kind of what we're looking for. Because ideally, like I told you guys before, we really want to build off of this background. So the more the AI has to see, the more it can build off of. So right here, I have a light box. I would highly recommend you guys grab something like this, but you don't need it. You can always use your kitchen or your bathroom, really just a plain old white wall if you want. So the good thing about having a light box is that it has light that comes down and lights your product. Not necessarily from the front, but it does light it from the top, and it has these reflectors here that kind of move the light around. I have a 16 by 16 light box, and it comes with different color backgrounds, which we're about to switch to the black color right now because we're going to do this Azzaro fragrance. Now, just like with the product, sometimes these backdrops need to be wiped down a little bit because they have dust and particles on them. It's the same thing that we talked about outside. Go ahead and get that shot. Everything's lit. I actually want to zoom in a little bit because right now our phones, I think, already kind of have a wideish angle. If you zoom into about 1.3, you should get around a good angle for your lens. So I'm just going to snap a very easy photo. I'm going to Photoshop. I'm assuming that you guys are complete beginners, so what you can do is click new file, but what I like to do is just go into my folder that has the images that I'm going to use. We'll go to downloads and we'll start with this 5-hour energy. I just like to click and drag it directly into the application, and it'll look like it won't go over and add the photo, but if you click on Photoshop again, it should start to load up and the picture will appear just like this. So we have the picture here, and we're going to get started on how to get everything edited. In Photoshop with my 5-hour energy image, I took it with my phone. I'm going to run through everything for you guys just so you can get comfortable. It's really just 4 tools just to know, so you can figure out how to make these look like really cool images and sell them to brands. Super easy. Photoshop is like 10 bucks a month, so I think it's worth it, and hopefully by the end of this video you guys will feel comfortable and think that it's worth it also. So we've got the original image here in our layer stack. If you don't know how layers work, basically I'm going to do, actually before I even duplicate, I'm just going to make a rectangle. Boom. We'll make a black rectangle. So how the layers work is whatever layer is at the bottom of this stack is at the bottom of the photo. So you can see the rectangles on top of this photo here, and it reflects that in our project view. So if I take this rectangle, click it and drag it underneath, we can't see the rectangle anymore. So hopefully that explains to you how the layers and such work. I didn't mean to do that. Let's hop into the 4 tools that you're going to need to know. The first one is just the selection tool. That's just so you can move stuff around and click whatever it is that you want to use. The next is the marquee tool, the rectangular marquee tool. This is how you're going to select stuff that you want to change. We call this marching ants, these little white and black motion things or whatever. So that'll let you know what you want and what you don't want to select. And it's pretty straightforward. We'll show you how to use that in a second. The lasso tool is just like the rectangular marquee tool, except you have a lot more free form in your selection. So it's just more of a customizable selection that you can use. So they do the same thing, but they're more useful in certain situations. And we'll go through that with different images. And then we got the crop tool right here. That's just so you can expand your photo out more. So what's cool with the new AI features is you can literally just drag it out and then hit generative expand, and it'll just create more stuff based off of this image. But not all the time you'll need to use that. It's just cool for if you want to give a client different aspect ratios to run their ads with. So we're back on the selection tool. I'm going to show you guys pretty much how to turn this photo into, like, I'm going for like more of a beach look because this is called tropical burst. So I want to make this look even more tropical. So let's go to the original image, make sure that it's clicked, and then you're going to hit Command J, or you can hit Control J if you have a PC. From here, what we want to do is remove this background, and you see very easily it's just one button. You click remove background, and you can't tell that it's gone, but it's gone because I have this layer beneath it and it's the same photo. It's not hidden, but if I hide it, you see that the background's pretty much gone. We can paint the rest of the stuff back in, but I'll show you guys that a little bit later. But for now, you want to hide this top layer where you remove the background and just go back down to the original right here. And what we want to do here is go to that lasso tool, and then we want to make sure that we select the product, including the shadows. Make sure if you have shadows and anything, select those too, because we want to remove all of that. And then you just click generative fill. You don't have to type anything in here. You just click generate. For some reason, I don't know how this works or why this works, but whatever you're trying to erase, if you just circle it, Photoshop's going to be like, you know what? He doesn't want that here anymore, and it just gets rid of it. So here in a second, you're going to see this product's going to disappear, and it's going to create just a blank space for us, which is exactly what we want. We've got a couple different options that we can work with here. It gives you that in this window, and if you don't like any of these options, you can always go back and click generate. But it really doesn't matter what you get initially unless you see something cool that you want to work off of, but you can change whatever you want to change. So we'll go with this one right here. You can see now I have another layer that has that new generation, that AI generation, which is here. And then you want to go into the lasso tool and then select whatever it is that you want to change. So here, I want to keep these palm trees right here, and I want to get rid of everything else. I don't know if that selected the basketball court. Make sure you try to get everything in your selection. If you like barely missed it, then AI will try to create something based off of what it sees. Even the reflection in this water, I already know, since there's reflections in this water and I try to change all the space in here, AI is going to look at these reflections and try to create something when I type in something new. You'll see in a second. So what I want to do, go like beach, ocean, skyline. So same thing here. We're gonna let that generate and see what we get from it. It should give us a couple different options to choose from, and go from there. So really with this first image, I'm going to go through all the other images that we talked about in this video, but I'm going to get into more detail with this first image, and we'll just zoom through the rest of them since you guys already understand the process. So we have a completely new image now. Looks a lot more tropical, like maybe I'm at some type of resort. That one looks really tropical, very more wild, I would say. Same with this one right here. I don't even know which one of these I like the best. This one definitely gives you more of that ocean view. That's got some mountains in it. So let's go with this one. This one looks pretty cool. And then from here, what I can do is I can manipulate this foreground a little bit. Now we have the image that was right here, so I don't want to manipulate it too much, but I want to probably go in here and then probably go about right there. And I just want to change that to water. Got some other stuff here. What I want to do now is kind of go here, and then let's just turn these into palm trees. Palm trees. All right, so it didn't quite give me palm trees. It gave me more of that like bungalow look, but I think it's also because it's trying its best to mimic what's in the reflections of the water. So you can run into that a little bit. Reflection can get a little bit tricky. So this is probably a little bit more of a difficult image to run, but it's still not too bad. I like it. It's not too shabby with what we have so far. And then we still have that tropical look that we were going for. So no worries here. So now let's just say this is the background that we want to run. Super easy, super simple. We want to bring that product back in. But one of the first things that you notice is like, all right, well, this doesn't really look real, right? And the reason why it doesn't look real is because the shadows aren't in there anymore. And that's okay, because when we got rid of the background, what it did right here was it created what's called a layer mask. So the product is painted on this mask. Well, pretty much what happened was we took the photo and we painted black in the photo, and the parts that's white is what the product is. So our original photo that we had is still there, but we have to paint in this. We have to click this adjustment layer and we have to paint white into whatever part that we want. And this is why it's important to keep this foreground, because when we go back and add that shadow is already there and it's going to make it look seamless with this background. So let's watch it. I'm going to go to my brush tool, which is right here. You can also press B as in boy to get to it as a shortcut. And right now my brush is very small. You can kind of see it like right here in this little corner. You just hit the brackets to make that bigger or smaller. I want about that size right there. So we have our foreground colors right here, white and black. If you press X as an X-ray, you can switch between those. Whatever's in the foreground right here is going to be what color that you have selected. And since we painted away the background in black on our layer mask, we want to be using white, right? You can always tell because the product, that color, you want to paint that same color to get your image back. So we're going to go in here and paint the shadows back into the image, just like that. And it doesn't matter if I fall off the image again, because it's still that same background layer that we have down here. It's not any different. So I got to put some of that product back in again too. Ooh, I did not mean to do that. Command Z. See right now I try to paint on the original photo. We got to go back to the layer mask and paint that back in. That's what we were missing. All right, cool. So here I'm painting a little bit outside of what I wanted to do. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and then switch back. Hit X again to switch my foreground colors right here. Switch it back to black. and then paint away that extra crap that we don't want to kind of get it back on the background here. But what is this? I don't even know what that is up there. I don't know if that's a part of the image or not. Doesn't look like it. Cool. And then I think there's a little bit of fuss right there. Cool. All right, so we're gonna zoom out again, and now we pretty much change this into a completely different background. Super easy, super simple. I think there's a little bit of mess right here that I should probably get rid of because that's not on my original image. There we go. It looks a little, there we go, much better. Okay, so now we pretty much replace the entire background of this photo, and it looks like we're on some type of like tropical resort or whatever, and we're traveling. So now I'm just gonna group all of these together, and then we can see the before and after. We went from this to that, from this to that. All right, and there's so much more that I can do to this image. Perhaps I could change a lot of this to sand, and I could just put this on like some type of platform. It's really, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just completely up to your imagination. Even if you wanted to add clouds to this photo, to give it a little bit more, oops, I did not mean to select that. To give it a little bit more character, we could do that. Go in there, add in some clouds. All right, cool. So now we got the clouds in there, and that add a little bit more character to the photo, and that's pretty much it. So we're gonna run through some of these other pictures. We won't do it in depth because you guys kind of already get the idea, I would assume, but you guys can see how I changed the photos using some of the other products. So here we go with the next image. Really simple to take care of. We see we got a little bit of patch that we gotta fix. So that's really easy. Just go in there, paint in that. Actually, I'm on black right now. Paint in that white, and then the image is basically fixed. Same thing. We just removed the hand from the background. The original image. I'm just gonna group this up so you can see the difference. This is the original image. So basically, I just got rid of the wall and added a cloud up there. I could honestly put a taller palm tree probably in this area, but I'm fine with this. It's not too bad. So let's move on to the next image. Took a selfie with my phone here. I took a picture and it's in 9:16. Now my photos on the back of the camera are in like 4:5 aspect ratio. So when I'm in Photoshop, especially for this video, I'm just dragging in the new photos to this project. So I drag this one in. We can get rid of this one. And that's okay. So what we can do here, this is another way to use the rectangular marquee tool. I can just go here, slide that image to the right, and then do a selection. Now I want to make sure that I have a bit of the image selected, because if I don't, this will just make whatever. Even if I type in palm tree, beach, whatever, it's not necessarily going to always match this background. So again, you need to make sure that you have a little bit of your original photo or whatever it is that you want to build off of, select it, so AI can look at this little slither of information and build everything in this direction. So that's exactly what we're about to do. Hit generate, and then it should just give us a brand new background here. I do not like that, but it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. We can still keep it as a wall. I actually like that it kind of goes into the background, but we'll fix that anyways. I don't like that mic there. So what we can do, go to the lasso tool, come in here, and then we can just select the mic, hit generate. This should disappear in about 3, 2, even before I got the countdown off. All right, cool. So that's gone, and we just have a regular image. So everything here is basically like it's always been. What we want to do is just make another. I know this is a little different because we already kind of fixed some things before we did the duplication, but I'm going to duplicate this, remove the background, so I can just get myself on this image. I'll change everything to more of a beach setting, and we'll go from there. Did it. You pretty much put myself on a beach, got the ocean in there. I think this looks pretty fire. I don't think anybody will really ever be able to tell the difference between the two, but we'll show it. We pretty much went from myself in my backyard to a nice little beach area. Now obviously there's a little bit of cleanup that we can do right here. I just didn't do it for this video, but it's the same concept as we said before. You just go in here and you paint in that extra layer that you need. You'll just have to, you know, obviously get rid of the wall and stuff in the background. Picture from 5 Hour Energy. This is exactly what I was imagining when I thought about this picture. Here's the after, here's the before. Again, we're in my backyard, 5 Hour Energy right here. I got socks, sandals on. It's hot in this gravel, so that's why I got sandals on here. Then I wanted to use this longboard, turn it into a surfboard, and everything came out great. We look at Pretty much everything we ran through in the previous photos is the exact same thing. We just we got the remove background layer, which is actually I lost it, which is right here. But I had to add some extra steps on there because I wanted to get rid of the longboard, make that a surfboard. So that's what this layer is. And then I had to go in there and basically create a new shadow. So I was trying my best to replicate that as much as possible. I had to paint away a little bit of some extra stuff on there, but we got a pretty decent shadow to replicate that board. And then obviously, you know, we want to take the socks off and get my feet in there. And then I just pretty much added another palm tree. And that's pretty much the end of this image. So we're gonna move over to the next product and do the same things. Cowboy boots, the Cayman leather boots, original photo right here. And then this is the new background that I added. Same concept as usual. You can pull down the group layer and look at all the layers that we have here. I basically got rid of this wall, added like a desert ranch behind myself. And then added like a nice little horse back there just to, you know, give it a little bit more style. And the picture came out pretty good. And then we've got this photo. Obviously I just took it for the YouTube video, but I wanted to have a little bit more fun. So I added some pants on there and then added a cowboy hat and then did another desert ranch back here just to again give it some more style. Now if you're going to add clothes, I would not bank on this 100%. I just kind of got lucky, but not all the time when you change the clothes it'll fit the dimensions of your body. Even still, if we look at my legs, it did an okay job, but you can still kind of see it doesn't really fit the structure of how my legs actually look. So I would only change the clothes in scenarios like this if it's like a must. Like obviously with the hat, it's a little bit better, but when you're like altering the clothes on your body, it can really warp the way that your body looks. Most people won't be able to tell, but you probably will. So if it's not that big of a deal to you, go for it. But just keep that in mind when you're doing that. But same thing here, except this situation, actually no, that's supposed to be there. Remove the background. Again, we have that desert ranch, you know, we just kind of replaced it with the wall here. And then we just fixed a few things, like got rid of that mic there, obviously did the shorts, let me move this out of the way. Got rid of the shorts, put some jeans on, and then changed my hat to more of a cowboy look to fit the aesthetic. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna go to the next image. All right, so now we got our next product. I've already kind of put a new background on there. I did like, no, actually I didn't like those. I like more of this wooden style forest background, so we're gonna run with that instead. I already got the product on there as well. So what we're gonna do now is I want to do a generative expand. So this is basically the same technique, except now we're just going to expand the aspect ratio of the image. Now I still want to keep it around that 4:5 aspect ratio, so I'm trying to drag it diagonally just so we can make sure that it goes there we go, like that, instead of going out more, because like I said, I still want that aspect ratio there. So the product isn't in the middle, so I kind of want to let's redo that one more time, because again, you want to make sure that you don't go out just straight diagonal like that. There we go. And then that's around in the middle. So now what I want to do is just go ahead and click generative expand. Now with this, I can type in if I want more of a wood type of forest. I definitely spelled that wrong again. More of a wood type of forest, or if I want a beach or whatever that you want, whatever you can imagine, you can put out here and it'll build off of this original image. I'm just going to click generate and let it come up with whatever it comes up with. And then now I have a photo where like it's not so tightly focused on the product and we can see a little bit more of the environment. So cool. So we got a few options here. I think all of them pretty much look decent, I would say. I think this one's probably my favorite. And then the only other thing I would do is just add, you can see right here, we have that same thing. We've got that layer mask right here, and now it's just layered in that new image. That's why it's transparent. If you look on this original photo, it's transparent because this is where that part of the image is. So we really only filled in the outside of that gap there. So I'm gonna go back to this layer, make sure that's selected, and I want to just come in here and add in some clouds. just goes from like to like way more interesting now. Not to say it's the most interesting, but it definitely looks a lot better. All right, so we got the image. This was the original image. Obviously it's a little, you know, banged up, a little overexposed, not the best, but I'm still going to show you guys what we can do with it. We still generated, I did a generative expand like we explained in the last example, where we just kind of went and dragged the edges out a little bit. And then from there, what I did was I'm going to show you the original image that I got. So I'm going to take away all these other portions of the image. So this is pretty much what we got. And just because you get an image like this, guys, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world, because sometimes it might be a little hard to get the correct background. Like you can see here, I probably did about I did probably about 6 different generations. This one was pretty good, it's not too bad. But again, the original photo is not the greatest, so that can affect how my image comes out. So just keep in mind when you're taking photos of yourself, just make sure it's like in focus and the exposure and stuff is right. Just by tapping the product, and maybe you want to drag down the brightness a little bit so it's not too overexposed. Depends on where you take the photo at. But anyways, I ended up going with this photo, and then basically what I did was just I went and traced in whatever else I wanted to add into the photo. So I did a sink there, modern style sink. Then I added a modern style type of like towel. You can see like what I put here. I didn't like the way that came out, but I did like the rack. So I kind of expanded on that towel a little bit, and it gave me either 2 towels, or it kind of just folded it in there a little bit more. And then what I did was I did a rectangular marquee tool, and then selected this portion of the photo, and I wanted to like put more drawers on like the bottom of the photo, just to give it a little bit more 3-dimensional space in there. So I added that. I like the way that looked. And then this looked a little funky to me, so I just kind of highlighted that a little bit with the lasso tool and got rid of it just to blend it a little bit better. So it's a little overexposed. I just added a black layer, painted black inside, added some noise, and then I shifted the blend mode to soft light. That's some extra more advanced stuff, guys. So just to show you how the potential of what this photo could be if I were to really go all out, even though it's, you know, originally wasn't the best photo, but it makes a huge difference, you know, just going from where we came from, making this a usable image for a brand. Obviously there's some more cleanup in here that we can do, but it just goes to show you guys can do this anywhere. It's not just, it doesn't have to be that studio background. You can use a wall in your bedroom, you can use the tiles in your kitchen, the counter in your kitchen, your couch, you know, whatever creative idea that you can come up with is pretty much, your imagination is pretty much the limit with all this kind of stuff, guys. So this is pretty much how you do it. You can take these photos with your cell phone, practice on it a little bit, share them with me if you guys want, post them on Instagram or send them to me on my Instagram. I'll probably link that in the description, and then I'll, you know, let you guys know what you guys can do a little bit better. Comment if you guys have any questions as far as just using AI and improving your photos. So that's going to be the end of this video, guys. I'll catch you in the next one, and peace.